Going on, everybody? This is James Grandmaster Facts Boyce, and you're here for another Facts Project review. Today, we are going to be covering Vanishing Point, Issue 3 for Mad Cave Studios. Now, this sci-fi anthology, of course, is written by Mark Russell, artwork done by Alberto Ponticelli, lettering done by Carlos Mangual, and coloring done by Ellie Wright. Now, if you remember when we covered these first two issues, which of course you could check out on our YouTube page, although built within the view of the sci-fi genre, each of these issues has a particular theme to them. The first issue dealt with an act of capitalism gone awry because the contract that this young man sent into space to mine asteroids was a little bit in over his head. The second one dealt with a middle-aged man dying on the verge of getting his house taken from him, and his last, glimpse of life is a dream built in the world of the Jetsons. This third one is, better yet, an experimental company called the Blue Zone. The way that the Blue Zone kind of works is that it sits as a floating experimentation device, drawn into the actual doctoring, manipulation, surgical procedures, and disruption of the alien species that are on board. It's almost like a prison colony. There is no characters in here given any type of narration. What you are seeing is actual pain. People that are trapped into certain situations and what they will do to get out of it. Most of the people that, or better yet, most of the species that you see within this issue are reptilian, some with tentacles, one that looks like a mix between Man-Thing and Moss-Man from He-Man. And yet, none of them, as it's drawn by Alberto Ponticelli, don't seem too menacing. None of them seem as though they are in there for criminal behavior. They seem as though they were taken from their land, and regardless of how they looked, they were treated in such a way. But like with any normal living condition, when you're trapped in a certain situation and you're falsely placed in a spot where you're not necessarily supposed to be, survival starts to take place, and the means of escape have to happen. With this one particular being, the one that I talked about that kind of looked like a mix between Man-Thing and Moss-Man from He-Man, only sees the torture of what is happening to everybody around him in this prison colony, and comes up with the notion that, like with anything, I have to get out. To where he is looking at how to basically just pick the lock, but understanding that just putting his hand outside of the door, he could lose his entire hand. But yet he does it anyway. And then you come to find out that because of the escape of how this happened, you're thinking to yourself, okay, these humanoid prison guards that are keeping everybody captive are pretty much what you would think of Earth taking on alien species and doing the experiments on them themselves. But no, it's an alien species, when these prison guards reveal themselves, that are actually changing human DNA, injecting them with alien DNA. And this is where the experiments start to take place. So everybody that's in this prison colony used to be human. So the human condition is what starts to rise to the top. This is why someone of that certain aspect is looking for ways to be free, because the only human condition is to be free. It's all fascinating how Mark Russell has basically taken each of these issues and has drawn them into a certain specific perspective of the human condition, that that if you've been through these particular aspects of life, what this person is going through, regardless of what they look like, regardless of how they are in this series. I can tell you right now that I actually am going to get a chance to talk to Mark Russell pretty soon for the podcast. And I have a damn good amount of questions to ask about this particular series. Obviously, as well, Mark Russell has started the Racer X series for Mad Cave Studios. And if you know Racer X from Speed Racer, that's exactly what this is. But we will look forward to this in the future, and we will see you guys next time on the channel.